Are you feeling overwhelmed by the clutter in your home? Well, you're not alone. But here's the surprising part. The kitchen, that heart of your home, might actually be the biggest clutter culprit. It's sneaky, isn't it? From forgotten gadgets to that drawer full of takeout menus, clutter is hiding everywhere. And here's the kicker. This mess isn't just annoying, it might even be costing you money and sanity. Well, let's fix that. The kitchen is one of the sneakiest places for clutter to pile up. Why is that? Because it's always in motion. Food comes in, meals are prepped, leftovers are stored, and before you know it, the chaos just adds up. But don't worry, today I'm going to share 25 things you can declutter right now to reclaim your kitchen and set the tone for a more organized and productive 2025. Let's dive right in. The first item I want to talk about are chipped mugs and plates. Let's be honest, no one is reaching in for that chipped mug unless they are out of options. It's like the last picked for dodgeball item in your cupboard. And that cupboard is likely overflowing with mugs you've collected over the years. Let the chipped ones go and make space for the ones you actually love and want to use. It's time to retire that old, faded, world's best boss mug, or the one your kids brought back from Vegas for you. You don't need them anymore. The second thing is single-use containers. Think those plastic containers or margarine containers. We all seem to have them. Those sneaky little containers seem to breed like rabbits in your cupboards, or maybe it's just mine. They aren't the same quality as the quality storage containers, glass or plastic, that you already have, but they're just too nice to throw away. Well, they aren't. Keep a few if you need them, but these containers are designed for single use. They're designed to be thrown away or recycled. If it's scratched, if it's stained, or if your lid to container ratio is off, say goodbye to them. Unless you're my husband, who never saw a plastic container he didn't want to keep. I mean, I've tried to recycle a few just last week, but they keep coming back. We have 2 sets that we've agreed to keep just in case he wants to give someone cookies. Well, spoiler alert, I don't often make cookies, and when I do, they're gone before we even have the chance to share. The third thing is Tupperware with missing parts. Lids with no bottoms, bottoms with no lids. Tupperware can be like the ghost socks of your kitchen. If they can't function, they don't belong, and they're just taking up space and making your life miserable. Get rid of anything that isn't a complete set. The fourth thing, extra cups and glasses. If you've got a big Brady Bunch family or you host regular dinner parties for your entire neighborhood, sure, you need all those glasses. But if you're not running a restaurant, pare down to the ones you actually use. For an average family of 4, I'd say you don't need more than 8 glasses. That should do you just fine. Maybe you're going to have to run the dishwasher a bit more often, but you won't be searching for shelf space when it comes time to put those glasses away. The fifth thing, small appliances. That waffle maker you used once, the juicer you swore you'd use daily, but it's just taking up counter space. Let's be real. If it's collecting dust instead of making smoothies, it's just taking up prime real estate. I mean, I love a small appliance just as much as the next person, and I would give just about anything for a pizza maker. But for the 5 or 6 times a year that I might actually use one, it's just not worth the investment or the storage space. Get rid of them if they're not productive members of your kitchen. The sixth thing, old dish towels and linens. If it's torn or stained or smells funky, no matter how many times you wash it, it's time to say goodbye. Treat yourself to some fresh towels. You deserve it. And a new dish towel can really bring a nice fresh pop of color and make your kitchen feel brighter. The seventh one is old cookbooks. Google and Pinterest have replaced cookbooks years ago. If you're not opening up your cookbooks on the regular, let someone else enjoy them. I do like to have a few cookbooks in my kitchen just for decorative purposes, but I don't remember the last time I actually opened one up. So unless you're using them either for recipes or decorative purposes, they should go to someone who will enjoy them and use them. The eighth thing is seasonal baking supplies that you don't use. Do you have a cookie cutter collection in your cupboard? maybe special shapes that only come out at the holidays. Maybe it's been a few years since they've seen the light of day, and maybe they could be put to use by someone else. Or those specialty cake pans, you know, the ones, they're shaped like houses or castles or fire trucks. They were popular for a few years, and I feel like maybe we saw them everywhere for a while. I'm not sure if that trend has died down or not, but I don't see them very often. We had a fancy donut-shaped pan. They made little individual donuts that got literally used twice. If the pan is sitting in a drawer or a cupboard collecting dust, or even worse, if they're still in the package, it's time to pass them on. Number 9 is fancy china you don't use. Do you still have that good china set you got as a wedding gift? Or maybe your mother's or your grandmother's good china? Maybe you've got all 3 sets, and maybe even an extra set of holiday dishes too. If you're using them all, that is fantastic. Good for you, that's great. But I doubt you are. So why not keep the sets that you do use regularly and let the rest go? There used to be a movement where you would eat on the good china every day. I'm not sure if that's still a thing, but if your good dishes are dishwasher safe, why not? It's a great idea. They cost a lot of money. They should get used. And then the rest you can sell, donate, or gift to a friend or family member. The 10th item is cutting boards. How many cutting boards does one household need? No, I'm asking. I doubt it's more than 3. And the plastic ones that are all scratched and moldy are more of a health hazard than a helpful kitchen tool anyway. Anything that's warped or cracked or has deep grooves that no amount of scrubbing will fix need to go. I get that many people want a separate board for meat and vegetables or other things, so keeping 2 or 3 is reasonable, but more than that and you're just collecting clutter. Number 11 is old baking sheets and tins. If it's warped or it looks like it's been through a war, it's not helping your cookies bake evenly. And like cutting boards, I don't think anyone needs the number of muffin tins and cookie sheets they actually have. I mean, I sure don't. Number 12, frying pans. If you replaced an old frying pan, but you're holding on to it just in case, don't do that. Get rid of it. You don't actually need it. And those scratched nonstick pans are a definite no-go. Not only do they make cooking frustrating, but they may be releasing nasty chemicals you don't want into your food. Get them out of the house now. Number 13 is cleaning supplies. Spend some time under your sink and truly take inventory of what you have. I am very guilty of just reaching blindly into that cupboard and grabbing a spray bottle and a roll of paper towels just to avoid that mess altogether. But you need to take everything out and look at what cleaning products you have, what you actually use, and what is just taking up space. If it's expired or maybe you're holding on to a product that you hate, don't let guilt trip you up here. It's time to toss it. Don't let the space under your sink become a cleaning supply wasteland. Deal with it and just stick with the stuff that you use. Number 14 is spoons. How did we end up with so many spoons? I don't know if I'm the only one. Tell me in the comments if you grew up this way, but my mother had a jar on her kitchen counter that was filled with teaspoons. I mean, all of the other silverware lived in a drawer like normal people, but the teaspoons were on the counter with the sugar and the powdered creamer. I grew up in the 80s. That's how we lived then. Anyhow, she could have entertained the entire neighborhood and still had more spoons left over. I never did really understand that jar. And unless you run a catering company out of your home, no one needs that many spoons. Keep enough that balances out the number of forks and knives you have and donate the rest. Number 15, cooking utensils. That spatula with the melted edges or the tongs that don't close anymore, or even worse, they pinch you every time you use them. Or maybe your wooden spoons are starting to splinter. Say goodbye to anything that is damaged. And don't overlook those specialty gadgets that are taking up space in your drawer. That avocado slicer that you was gifted but you never used, or the fancy peelers that are just sitting there. They should go too. Number 16 is extra serving bowls. Stackable bowls are great until that stack becomes a mountain. You likely don't need as many serving bowls as you think you do. Take note of how many you use the next time you entertain. You might be surprised. Keep a set, or if you have to, maybe 2, but think about letting the rest go. Number 17 is napkin rings. If you can't remember the last time you set a formal table, I mean, I can't, those napkin rings sitting in your drawer are just accessories for a life you're not living. They are more likely to be a nuisance than anything, taking up space and then jamming up those drawers. And if you have more than one set, maybe consider keeping the most versatile set, the one that goes with everything, and then donate the rest. Number 18 is expired food or food you won't eat. Let's not sugarcoat it. If it's expired, it's gotta go. Just toss it. I can go on kicks with food. If the kids love a certain dish, I make sure to have all the ingredients on hand. And then when they get sick of it, because it's been on repeat for the last 6 months, those ingredients will just sit and go stale or even expire. Or maybe you bought some exotic ingredients for a recipe that no one liked, and now those leftovers are sitting on the shelf slowly going bad. Get rid of them and start fresh next year. Or if it's something you bought on a health kick and you know you'll never eat, donate it. Number 19 is fridge magnets. As a realtor, I see this one often. People love fridge magnets. They are the go-to travel souvenir, second only to that Vegas mug, and the perfect advertising medium from everyone from plumbers to realtors. Many of the kitchens I walk into have fridges that are just covered in magnets. They hold up hockey schedules and kids' pictures and report cards and any other important paperwork you don't want to lose. The problem is that having an area as big as a fridge covered in magnets and stuff quickly makes your kitchen feel very cluttered. It pulls your focus to it immediately, away from everything else and right on that fridge. It's the one area I tell my clients not to overlook when getting their homes ready to sell. If you can't part with your collection, consider moving it to the side of the fridge or just paring it down to a few sentimental pieces. It's going to make your kitchen feel and look bigger and cleaner. Number 20 is freezer burnt food. Don't ignore your freezer. Freezing your food doesn't stop time. That steak you bought on sale last summer and froze for later isn't going to stay fresh and edible forever. If there's more ice on the item than food, or if you don't even remember buying the item, toss it. And if you're like my husband Dean and love to buy whatever meat is on sale that week, write the date on it before you freeze it. And try rotating the stock in your freezer so those steaks that you bought don't get buried at the bottom and forgotten. Get rid of those freezer burnt purchases. Don't beat yourself up for the mistake of forgetting about them. And free up space for the things that you are going to eat. Number 21 is old condiments. That bottle of barbecue sauce from 2 summers ago, or the mint sauce from the lamb you cooked in 2022, if it's crusty, expired, or just unloved, it's time to toss it. So that hot sauce that you bought for family dinner because you know your brother-in-law loves it, but no one else in your family does, either send it home with him or toss it. Number 22 is reusable shopping bags. These seem to multiply overnight, don't they? I find myself forgetting to put them in the back in my car, and then when I pop into the store, I have to buy more. The best way to manage this is to try to keep a good stockpile in your vehicle so that you don't get caught empty-handed. And as for that overstock that you have, keep a handful, but donate the rest to a local food bank. They could probably use them. Number 23 is takeout menus and condiment packets. I seem to be picking on Dean today, but Dean, my husband, loves takeout condiments. We have a Ziploc bag full of old soy sauces and vinegar packets. I've tried to get rid of it, but it just keeps coming back. The ketchup packets were handy when making lunches, I won't lie, but we have soy sauce in the fridge and the low sodium one too, so it's better for you. And we buy vinegar by the gallon. So I don't understand the need to keep these free packets around. Let them go. And those takeout menus, do you really need them when everything is online now anyway? Number 24 is worn out pot holders or oven mitts. Burn holes are not going to protect your hands. Replace them with something that will actually do the job. And number 25, the last one on our list, is unused or excess water bottles. This is definitely a problem our parents didn't have. The water bottle industry is crazy. We went from the Nalgene bottles to the Hydro flasks to the Yetis to the Stanleys to I don't even know what anymore, but I have a cupboard full of them. My thought here is that you can only use one bottle at a time. I'll allow for two, but if it leaks, if it smells, or if you've got more bottles than people in your house, it's time to declutter them. Take a minute now and look around your kitchen. You have just cleared out 25 items you likely didn't even realize were cluttering up your space. But here's the thing. Decluttering isn't just about one room. The real magic happens when you keep that momentum going. Now, there are things you don't need hiding all over your home, not just in the kitchen. And these items, they're silently adding to your stress. So let's tackle that next. Click here to watch my video on the 20 common things you do not need, and let's take this one step further. I'll see you over there.